This is a nightmare. It must be a nightmare.
Tony Caravan. You've been subjected to a highly sophisticated form of propaganda.
It's just what you need, not what you don't.
It's like kind of a cold ending to that thing, which, is a little bit, I can never get that in sync just right,
You got a rattlesnake inside your house. You got a rattlesnake inside your house. Oh, yeah. There's just one in here?
Yeah, I hope.
I hope. It's one of those days, folks. It's one of those days. You ever hear that song?
Good morning.
It's one of those days.
Here's what's happening.
Let's take a look at the card. The meme card today, if you haven't glanced at it, I'll review it for you. It says, world's highest standard of living. There's no way like the American way for those who can afford it. The morning show. Now, some people might think of that as like a leaning, left-leaning thing, but really it's not. It's the truth. It's the truth. Anyway, the title of today's show is Inefficiency and Ignorance. Tony Caravan Live, 6/12/21. You can find this way to the beach. And the description says, or reads, whichever, if you use your computer voice, it will say it. Because I could do that sometime. But anyway, it says, or reads, there's no doubt that nefarious collectives, such as the Corporatocracy and the International Crime Syndicate, are responsible for the fall of the Western civilization and the U.S. It should be just fall of Western civilization. Let's correct that. Fall of Western civilization and the U.S. and the former U.S. Let's be correct. But ultimately, it was functional illiteracy, self-centeredness, greed, and bureaucracies that ushered in the devastation. And of course, there are links to all my various sites that you can find. Behind me, you will see the glow of the book codex, which you need to start buying and reading to get your acts together. Great solar stuff where you can get all this fine, fancy stuff. I don't know what else is over there. And of course, the box set that never was released. And of course, Eyes Without a Face, which apparently in California, they're lightening up the load on all that stuff. So for those people, it's a beautiful thing. I am not drinking caffeine today. I'm not drinking colas. It's the morning show mug. However, inside it is a Slurp. No, it's not a Slurpee. It's one of these ginseng and honey green tea drinks. I was getting like a, you could probably tell by the top, if you look closely. See that? You know what it is. I'm not sponsored by it. No need to promote it. It's actually so cheap. It's one of the cheapest selling green teas out there. I think that's their marketing plan. So we really don't need to worry about that too much. Now, the question is that
the Weather Watch forecast.
So let's take a quick look at the weather forecast. It's currently 6:40. Man, am I out of touch. It's 48 degrees outside. June 16th. Wow. And it's only going to get up to maybe the low 70s today. The overnight tonight will be 46, so even colder. It's still okay. Won't hurt the garden. And it's going to be sunny. So I'm going to do some painting and go for a walk after the show. Thursday, tomorrow, it's going to be sunny again, 73, and the overnight 54. And the weekend's looking like it's going to get back up into the 80s and the high 70s. And we'll deal with that another time. Anyway, so that was your
The Weather Watch forecast.
Glad you could be a part of the show. Welcome, and you know what we do here.
Making up the rules as we go along.
And we're also,
You're now in a different continuum than the world you're used to.
yeah, that too. So I'm not sure if the ginseng and a honey. I had some Lucky Charms for breakfast. I still have this problem over here, which I don't know what I'm going to do about, which kind of bothered me through most of the night. I had been getting this heartburn, which I usually don't get that kind of thing. Upset stomach, put it that way. So I'm getting rid of the caffeine, going to replace it with the ginseng and honey tea, which is really mostly high fructose sugar. So, I mean, if I make it through these like 3 cans that I have here, depending on how long the show goes, hopefully I'll only go through 2 cans because they're about 100 calories a can. On my cereal, I got 2 boxes for the price of 1. I don't know. Sometimes I was stupid. I was doing one of those online ordering things. They didn't have the cereal I want, so I ended up ordering Lucky Charms, magically delicious. They're always after me, Lucky Charms. So I put just a tad of pure maple syrup, so they claim that it's pure. And sprinkled a little cinnamon and a honey on there to add some other health benefits. Now, all of those things are sweeteners, and you can't trust pure honey. You can't trust pure maple syrup. I mean, cinnamon, who knows what's in that? The whole 9 yards. And it's the same with this. This is probably mostly high fructose corn syrup and water, and the minuscule amount of honey and ginseng in there that the FDA allows them to say that. It's just like they allow them to say pure this and pure that. So we're screwed either way you go. There's just no way about it. So I don't know.
Funky.
Nah, it's not that. It's not funky there. Anyway, so what I want to talk about today, and we could, I guess we could kind of more or less jump right into it. I mean, if you want to, we don't have to, but if you want to. It's 5:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the former United States, and you're listening to Tony Caravan live, and that's. The name of that is, and that's all I have to really say about that. I wanted to talk about, and this is, of course, the legendary white handkerchief. It does get washed very often. Don't worry about that. But what I want to talk about is what we listed in the description, which I'm going to take another quick look at, just to keep myself on focus. Ultimately, it was functional illiteracy, self-centeredness, greed, and bureaucracies that ushered in the devastation. And, that's so true. Yesterday, I got up at like 3 a.m. And I was tired towards the end of the day because in the middle of after the show yesterday, I originally had planned to have like a little bit of a mini afternoon cocktail hour, which wasn't really cocktail hours. It would be beer, a couple of beers and a cigar, all those filter tip cheap cigars. However, by the time I got back from the beer distributorship, which was a very depressing conversation. I went into this place. It opens at 7 a.m. It's this 80-year-old guy owns the place. It's a little beer garden, bar. There was nobody else in there, just him sitting on a bar stool watching TV. And he was like, every day it's the same thing, and he was complaining, about health or something like that. And he was like, I wish it would just end today. It was a real depressing thing, I'm like, hang in there, buddy, Oh, I'm sure he will. He seems to be a level-headed guy and all that stuff. But, the statement of that is that, it's the repetitiveness. I always wondered about people that actually the repetitiveness of life doesn't bother them, doesn't disturb them, or that they become conditioned or accept that as their lot in life. The bureaucrats, the bureaucracies. Not to say that this guy's a bureaucracy. And if I were 10 years younger, I probably would have said to him, look, man, just retire. I'll take this place off your hands. And I would have run it just as something to do. And I would have turned it into my little world, broadcasting live from, this bar, put my music collection in there and turned it around. Of course, it would have been a nightmare. So I'm not going to do that. It's not even a fantasy. But I was thinking about, then I came back, and then my stomach was upset. And this is the second or third time this happened, second time. I took like a couple glasses of aloe, pure aloe, which you can purchase. That seemed to settle it. I also bought some Rolaids when I was buying the cigars. And I never use Rolaids or Tums or anything like that. But I was chewing on one or two of those, and I sat down and watched the playback of my show. But I realized amidst all of that, I go, I'm not going to have any beer or cigars, I'm just going to take it easy today. Or yesterday that was. So I was kind of, tired and, fiddled about, moved some plants that I still had in my back porch outside and, looked at the garden. There was a couple of slight thunderstormy type of things, but nothing substantial, no major deluges, just a couple of raindrops, cloud bursts, better way to explain it. And I had ordered some broth for my cat because my cat is one of these types of cats that doesn't eat canned cat food. So I leave these, whatever you call them, crunchies, type of things out. And he grazes on those over the course of the day and night. And I just give him some cat treat type of things in the morning or in the evening for something different. But to put something liquid in his diet, I was giving him these things that were advertised as like broths. And you're saying, what does this have to do with this show and all this stuff? Well, just remember, I say this all the time. I'm not even on the right. I'm not even on the right place.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Well, I say this all the time. This is my show, so it usually starts out with the personal stuff. Since nobody listens to it or watches. So I might as well talk to myself and, these things off my mind. And so I'm tired right now too. And so actually, see, the idea is I was trying to think, can I somehow, use ginseng and honey as an alternative to caffeine. And maybe it was the caffeine that was giving me the heartburn or upset stomach. But then when I just read the can now, I've been buying this stuff for years. And I was looking at the ingredients, and when I saw that high fructose corn syrup in there, I'm like, oh man. No wonder it's 100 calories a can. You just can't win. So anyway, my cat, if you buy this kind of semi-name brand broth thing, it's advertised as like broths or something. I don't know what it is. It's not cheap either. It's like, it's always 4 for $5 or something. So it's like $1.25 each or something. It's a lot when you have a cat. I mean, you can't give it to it every day on top of buying cat litter, bag of cat food, various cat treats, the occasional toy, It's like birds I'm feeding. It's like a zoo. Well, anyway, this one brand, and most brands, they call them broths, but there's slithers and pieces of food in it. And the one has there's more pieces of food in it than liquid broth. So the cat inevitably leaves that hard stuff, the solid objects, in the bowl. And whatever they make that stuff up out of, you need like a Brillo pad to scrub it off the bottom of it. So I might as well give a plug to this. So this Friskies has come out with. Now, I don't know if the stuff I ordered is the right stuff, and I just may have wasted $17 or some ridiculous amount of money. So I bought 2 different types of packs of this stuff because it didn't look like the stuff that someone else had brought me once that the cat just lapped up. The thing was just pure broth. In other words, it just looked like there was turkey broth there, or chicken broth, or whatever, seafood, bisque or something. I don't know. Well, anyway, I ordered that stuff. It was due to be delivered yesterday. And you click on the thing, track package, and it says out for delivery, and the line is like just about touching delivered, So I figure, okay, well, the mail comes because they switched it to the USPS, U.S. Postal Service. I guess it was coming, they do that all the time. And my mail came, and all it was some stupid advertising promotional thing selling used cars or something. I'm thinking, I don't know. So the mail, what happened to it? So I'm tired. I'm upstairs. It's like I'm tired now. So my whole theory of trying to fool myself with ginseng doesn't seem to be working. It's like I need a jolt of caffeine or something. And I'll probably get an upset stomach from drinking high fructose corn syrup. You can't win. I've been better off to have a glass of ice water here. So I kept checking the tracking thing. I had, like I said, I have security cameras. I was looking at the camera to see if anything magically appeared on my porch. And, time just kept going on. And so, and I was tired. I wanted to just get into my night clothes, lay in bed, binge watch something, and eventually go to sleep. And I go to bed early because I get up early, right? 5:42 a.m. now. Today I get up at 4 or something. So if you want to get 8 hours of sleep and you're waking up at 4, you got to go to bed at least by 8, right? Which I don't mind. Some nights I go to bed 7:30. I don't care. I get up at 3:30. I get 8 hours of sleep. But instead, I had to keep checking. And then I finally said, well, the hell with it. If it's there, it's on the porch, somebody steals it, whatever, overnight, I can't. I'm not going to. Because the last time I checked it before I went to bed, it still said out for delivery. This morning, it was changed saying it will arrive on the 16th or the 17th. But the previous one claimed that it was in the post office in my town yesterday morning at 9 something. So now are they looking, let's see, this guy who understands that there's an international crime syndicate and calls the U.S. the former U.S. and corporatocracy, what's he doing with this broth stuff? We need to somehow examine each one of these packets. Let's x-ray, open those boxes, x-ray those packets. Maybe we'll have to take some kind of sampling out. So I guess I'll be serving irradiated food to my cat. Sounds like psycho, right? But this happens to me all the fucking time. And so what is the other answer? It's like that movie Brazil, Terry Gilliam's Brazil, about bureaucracies and out of control bureaucracies, or how they used to talk about Italy was like the bureaucracy, just why the country could never have a stable government. And that's what I was trying to say about this. In other words, it's not that we don't have nefarious forces, and that there isn't an international crime syndicate pulling the strings of the corporatocracy that is what most people think as the former United States. Well, that's true. All right. I mean, this is an idiocracy on top of it all. Right? I mean, just look at, we've got a guy with dementia running the country. I mean, this is pure idiocracy. And so, these nefarious forces were responsible for the fall of Western civilization in the former U.S., but it's functional illiteracy, self-centeredness, greed, and bureaucracies that ushered in the final devastation. Or if you want to put it another way, put the last nail in the coffin. So believe whatever you want to believe is the way I look at this. If you want to say, international crime conspiracy, you're crazy. Yeah, well, guess what? You're programmed and you're just like you're a meat suit, a programmed meat suit. All right? That's what you are. Okay? I mean, there's no other way of doing it. It's not about not being a good person or a kind person. All right? I'm just calling it like it is. All right? An animal is capable of so many things, okay? Right? That are programmed into it. We have different words for that, but it's all programming, right? And so we've got all these meat suits wandering around that are pre-programmed and indoctrinated, conditioned, like you condition an animal, Pavlovian, salivating to the metronome, which is the media and the politicians, commercials. And all these bureaucracies set up by the corporatocracy and this International Crime Syndicate. And they move so slowly and inefficiently that they just can't do anything. So you put the two together and it's a recipe for a disaster. And that's what we're experiencing now. It's actually a clown show, It's a clown show. I mean, if people from the past would actually look at this, what's going on right now in the U.S., former U.S., and Western civilization, they would have such disbelief. They would be like, there's no way this could be happening, or it could have ended up this way. And the thing is, I'm one of those people. I look at it, and that's it. I go like, there's no way it could have ended up this way. Because I'm old enough to have seen, the good days, when it was working. I mean, there was always bureaucracy, all right, and red tape, they used to call it. And there were always crooks. Politicians have always been crooked, and corporations have always had influence. K Street and lobbyists have always written the bills for Congress. But there was never such widespread functional illiteracy. So that's the idea. That's the concept. So these people that think that there's some kind, I guess what bothers me the most is that people are acting as if things are normal. And I know someone might say, well, it's not normal. We still have some of these lockdowns. Like California's open now, supposedly, or whatever. No, I'm not talking about that normal or the new normal or any of that nonsense. Those are just buzzwords and just things created by those who want to manipulate your mind, or your brain, I should say, your bioelectric brain. If you want to see a more serious version of me, watch yesterday's show. Every now and then I have a little program like this where I just get on a rant. Today's a rant day, okay? It's a rant. So.
Quality, quantity, and variety.
Rock flux.
Let's get this show on the road.
It's variety. So today justifies the statement. Yeah, the show is variety. There's variety here. You don't always get the same thing every day. But I mean, I'll tell you, I just can't believe it. And if it happens to me on a regular basis, and I'm talking about all of these things that bureaucratic failures, like I told you, I can't tell you how many times packages have been delayed or then just missing, right? Or the wrong thing sent. I ordered twice, and I'm not going to mention the service. I mentioned it in the past, but leave it to your imagination. 2 different times I ordered from a delivery service, like a local delivery service. But I mean, it's a national one, but I mean, to get stuff delivered locally. In both of those times, they either did not include one of the items that I ordered. Oh, and they compensated me for it. That's not the point, but it's after the fact, and you got to go through comments and, customers, all that nonsense. It's a hassle. And like the second time, I got somebody else's stuff. And they said, I'll keep it. I think I told you about that in the previous show. So it's no matter where you look. I was once in a hospital and I looked down at my bracelet and it was the wrong name. I should have sued them right then and there. I mean, we deal in a society where the majority of people are functionally illiterate. And these were the people I talked about yesterday in a kind of somewhat sane way of, of being kind of like the android soulless millions, who were just functioning, with their bioelectric brain, using their senses. So of course they could navigate through the, through the world and whatever they're doing, but basically no more than a robot putting a part on a car, an automobile, or an automatic pizza machine. One of those hamburger flippers robots that are coming to a fast food restaurant near you. so they don't have to pay $15 an hour for a hamburger flipper. They're just turning all those jobs over to, robotic devices. Self-driving cars. So as you can see, much like that guy in the bar who's 80 years old, at least he's 80 years old, and I can understand his frustration and going, life is insane. I'm 80 years old, and it's the same old thing every day. I'm tired of it, right? But it's like, I can relate to that, I can relate to it. But the guy's lost. It's like the guy's lost the will to live. And like I say, I think he's an interesting character and all that stuff. So it's not like he's gonna off himself or something. But the point of the matter is, if you did get an illness and you don't have the will to live or to fight it, you're gonna end up dying from it. You see what I mean? You have to have positive thinking and something to live for. It's like this girl, she never made it, but I used to have a song by her or whatever, and one of her songs was "Worn Me Down" or something like that. Wore me down, worn me, yeah. And it's like, that's how I feel right now, because I've had this. I mean, right now I feel kind of okay as far as the old stomach is concerned. We'll see after I drink this high fructose corn syrup. They're poisoning us with this stuff. And that's another FDA thing. Bureaucracies. Why do they even have to put that in there? They have this xylitol sweetener, that supposedly helps regrow, is actually good for your teeth and stuff. And the only thing that I think they have that in is Mentos gum, one brand, particular flavor or kind of Mentos gum or something. But anyway, that said, yeah, sometimes you feel like you get worn down, and so it's like I got a toothache. Can't find a dentist. I actually ordered one of these self dental things. I'm going to try to fill my teeth myself. See what kind of disaster that is. Probably end up dying. What are you supposed to do? What's a bloke supposed to do? Right? What kind of world do we live in? Bunch of self-centered, greedy, bureaucratic, functioning illiterates wandering around like robots, doing their thing, repetitive tasks day in, day out. That's what I was thinking about with the coffee. I have some instant coffee in there. I thought, well, maybe I'll have some coffee. I said, yeah, but who knows what that'd do to my stomach. But it got me to thinking, how think about how many shows. I drink this stuff through my mug, but think about how many things you've seen on YouTube or TV, movies. I watch these. Everybody's drinking coffee. Do you notice that? Everybody's drinking coffee. I mean, Starbucks is so huge, and it's been so huge forever. And there's all these other coffee shops. But I mean, in every show, it's coffee. Right? And so you get all these people, and it's these cookie cutter houses. They get up in the morning. It's the same old thing. They watch the same things, dress the same way. The Beau Brummel outfit, coat and tie, business suit, the woman's version of their business suit so she can look professional and as manly as possible. They get in their, overpriced cars, paying ridiculous amounts of insurance, putting their kids in daycare or wherever, and then getting with their coffee they brewed, or stopping to get the coffee on the way and driving to work with their coffee, and sitting in some cubicle or an office or whatever it is. It's the same old thing. And they come home and it's the same old thing. And on the weekend, they're mowing their lawn. A lawn. Man. Mowing their little mini golf course. I would love to, really, I would love, the ultimate prank I'd love to do. I'd like to get like 100 flagpole, little golf course flags, whole flags, right? And one of these like scooper things, it's like rounded. You just scoop it, turn, and you can make an instant hole, right? And I'd love to just have it, put these things in the back of a pickup truck with one of these scooper things, maybe 2 guys, and just go down one of these cookie cutter neighborhoods and just scoop a hole, put a flag, scoop a hole in the next house, put a flag, scoop a hole, put a flag, scoop a hole, put a flag. These people wake up in the morning and down this entire cookie cutting neighborhood for, say, a couple of blocks, everyone would have like one mini golf, hole in the front of their house, their well manicured lawn. Wouldn't that be a trip? Be a nice scene in a movie. Feel free to take it. I won't sue you. But that's the absurdity of it. In fact, if I had I don't have a front lawn. See, the front of my house is like sidewalk, right to the street. I have my back goes back. I have a long, thin lawn in my backyard, but a third of it's garden, and most of it I'm trying to just plant stuff so it gets overgrown, so I don't have a lawn. But if I had a front lawn, that's what I do with it. I put it on, the whole flag and a hole there. Mini golf. We've reached a point where the majority are functionally illiterate. And people are so out of touch with reality that it's surreal. And guys like me, I don't know. It's like I don't feel like I'm better than anybody else. I don't, I don't bother with anybody. I'm just saying the way I see. I'm just calling it the way I see it. It just seems absurd to me. And I could tell that I'm unique because I offer all these things to people and nobody gives a shit. So it's, it's just one of those things. I guess like another thing I was watching is so I've been through this Paramount. I've been watching I guess the last or next to last season of that Criminal Minds series that went for 14 or 15 seasons, like a ridiculous amount of seasons. That's like 15 years. These people are actually aging. You watch these shows and you go, especially if you binge watch, so over a 1 month time, people are aging 10 years or 15 years. The blonde's still looking okay though. She's a little bit, she could put on about 10, 15 pounds. But, at least she's not waifed out, heroin waifed out, like so many once attractive actresses. But, even those shows, so, these crime dramas, it's the same thing. So just, it's repetitive. And it gets to the point where you're going like, okay. Another kidnapping torture case, eh? Right? Another serial killer copying the Zodiac killer with a twist, right? Another jogger in a park getting, mauled or something. I never figured that out, how people could just, See, for me, it was like that thing, variety is the spice of life. Variety, to me, it's got to be variety. I don't know. But
I think all three of you popped your stoppers.
yeah, it's weird.
Why are you telling us this?
Because people are not wearing the thing anymore in a lot of places.
Your papers, please.
And I'm going to the store today. I was thinking maybe I wouldn't put it on because I don't know. I don't see anybody stopping you and asking for papers. Oh. Yeah. Caffeine helps, but it's a drug. That's the thing I guess I was trying to get at. It's this legalized drug. It's on every show, every commercial, even like morning shows. They've got their coffee mugs in front of them. It's everywhere. That's weird. Coffee. If they really wanted to get something widespread, put it in the coffee. Maybe that's how they passed this thing, got around everywhere. They put it in the coffee. It's either that or they aerosolized it and it was, came down from the sky. I don't know.
Taking you back to the realms and depths of time.
So I am officially getting bored doing this. I have to be honest. I can't. Real brood. Antiox. What does it say? Vitamin something antiox fortified. But see, it just doesn't follow suit when you read the ingredients, because the ingredients say premium brewed blend of green tea using filtered water. Okay, that's fine. But is that the majority? See, they don't give you the breakdowns. High fructose corn syrup, glucose fructose syrup. Then it says honey, citric acid, natural flavors. What are they? That's like that other thing I was drinking that said all natural, but contains no fruit juice. All natural, contains no fruit juice. Ascorbic acid, vitamin C. Ascorbic acid is when you buy vitamin C tablets, it's ascorbic acid, it's not vitamin C. They used to have something called ester C that a pharmacist told me a long time ago was really absorbed better, so you actually got the vitamin C. I haven't seen ester C anywhere on the shelves anymore. So you just get ascorbic acid. Screw that. Ginseng root extract, and then manufactured for whatever. Total fat 0, sodium 0, carbohydrates 25 Gs, total sugars 24 grams, includes 24 grams added sugars 48%. Protein 0. All right. Not a significant source of saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. See, they put that in there because they're hoping people didn't read the first 3 words. Or 4 words, not a significant source of. But they see vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. Yeah, it just said it's not a significant source of. Added sugars. So this thing apparently is about 50% sugar. It's also 11.5 ounces. Have you noticed that lately? Excuse me. The cans. Well, sorry about that, cat. The cans are getting smaller. You know, they just take like a half ounce out or so of things. The cereal boxes, the cookies, whatever it is you buy, people buy. I don't buy that stuff. So, you know, this is like, who the heck wants to watch a guy, you know, on this slow moving thing? It's kind of weird.
Shut your damn cake hole!
I am your main connection to the switchboard of souls. I'm the magic man.
I'm not the magic man. I'm just some guy who's done 125 consecutive live broadcasts. Something like that. Consecutive. 7 days a week. Non-stop. 125. Imagine it. That's like 2.5 years of these people, you know, comparable to 2.5 years of these people that do like a weekly show on YouTube. And a lot of those people, those shows are only like 30 minutes. An hour, it would be pushing it. And most of my shows have been at like almost 2 hours. So it's almost the equivalent of 5 years of broadcasting that I've done, you know, and these are guys who are YouTube millionaires, by the way, you know, and I lost money doing this show. I don't know how much the total amount is, but I would say I lost, it's not that much, but I probably lost close to $1,000. When you're at the poverty level, it's, you know, thousands considerable. $1,000. There's things you can do with that. Get your mouth fixed. So now you have toothache every night. I want to go to sleep. What the hell am I going to do? So it's like, yeah, you know, that guy yesterday, just the way he said that to me, it just like, I don't know. That was definitely an influencer on top of my own ailments. And so it's like, you understand, you know, it's like, it's a form of depression in a sense, right? You think, you know, what's the use? $200 calories. I had 2 cans. I'm not going to use, I have a third here, but I'm not going to open it. Can't do that. I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it.
Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal. See, I'm also, this is just me on a rant, like, just kind of like, just being really kind of, I guess the best way, the cleanest way to say it was being PO'd. Not that it matters. But this airplane sound in my earphones that you can't hear. And in order for me to get this reverb, which you can hear because I noticed it was on yesterday's show. But in my headphones, it's like, it's this ridiculous echo. So it kind of like doesn't, it's, my brain isn't focused properly because I have this sensory input of like this constant, I wish you could hear that sound. But like I say, the best I could describe is that being on a plane, that constant noise you hear, the jet noise, like inside, I think, which is mostly the air, I think, like some droplet on my glasses. I probably look strange to people without glasses. This is what I look like, though. I don't wear glasses. These are just reading glasses. Because otherwise I can't see all the things on the computer without them. So it's like I'm riding on a jet, noisy jet. And there's a constant echo in my ears. And I put all this technology together to do this thing. And now I've done 125 consecutive shows, 5 years worth compared to most of the guys who've already made $1 million. I've spent 1,000 or more, wasted 125 days. And I'm surrounded by idiots. I know that's not a nice way to talk, but I mean, it's like, what the heck? I think yesterday I was talking about, it's this planet is, it's not even our planet. The damn thing's going to explode in about 25 years. We'll all be dead, It's being run by either a combination of criminals or functionally illiterate bureaucrats, right? And the rest of the people are walking around and they're pretty much, no wonder zombie movies became big because they're literally zombies. So it's like, no wonder I'm starting to drink twice a week now. I was down to where I was lucky. Yeah, sometimes I'd go 2 months and I didn't even drink. Once a month I'd have like a happy hour with a friend or something, in my bar. Now it's like twice a week. Might end up going up to thrice a week. I hope this guy doesn't off himself up the street because it's a pretty quick walk, and his beer, I could buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack from him, and prices are pretty cheap compared to these other places. We see the price of beer. And the other thing about, there's the word pussies and wimps, like all these people. Yeah, everything is some kind of flavored beer now. Flavored. Now, I've said before, I will put some lime and like sea salt sometimes into a light beer. I put the lime in because lime is like one of the best sources of vitamin C. And your standard name brand light beer is a little bland. And like I say, this guy owned a bar down in Florida when I lived there for a while. Short period, about a year or so. I forget how long I lived there. He turned me on to putting in just a little sprinkle of like salt, like this tiny, margarita salt, that kind of thing. Kind of salt you put on a salted pretzel. I guess you could put kosher salt or sea salt, that type of thing. And it actually does improve the flavor greatly, tremendously, actually. But I mean, that's nothing. And sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I mean, I also drink my beer on ice and always have, which is, to some people, is a weird thing. But when I go in these like other six-pack shops, like the opportunity someone is driving or whatever, and you go in and they got all these flavors. And seltzer beers now, cranberry flavored, strawberry, I mean, you name it. Well, it's not beer. It's like, I mean, they're like beer coolers, technically, I guess. But they try, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like that whole manly thing where you had to acquire taste for beer. First time you ever tasted beer as a kid, you didn't really like it. It was like, well, it's like the first time you smoked a cigarette, you coughed out a lung. But you did it. It was a rite of passage. Yeah. We have a bunch of functionally illiterate and wimps taking over society, being ruled over by an international crime syndicate that is a conglomeration of corporatocracies that used to be former countries like the former United States. Right? And they're run by these literally idiots, like in the case of our country, and bureaucrats. And amidst all that, there are still decent people, and there are people that are trying to do, they're trying to hold the fabric of society together, right? Some people in law enforcement, and certain people in financial, markets, and then people with businesses that are so-called necessary for the functioning of a society. But those people that are doing those jobs well are aging, and the people coming up to replace them are just, not as effective. They don't get it, And so society basically is being attacked from two angles. One, this nefarious group that wants to, bring in an authoritarian state, this global government. But on the other hand, there's, this functional illiteracy is just making society not unable to function. And so going forward, what do you have? And so, and in the meantime, we've got this looming possibility of this solar nova thing, staring us down. This barrel staring us, pointed right at us. So I guess you just, the idea is to just live your life and be the best person you can be. That's what I tried to do with these shows. I tried to share, I mean, I wasn't always this negative. Every now and then I got on a rant or it's like a downer day and stuff. But I mean, I always tried to like give you some kind of positive take on something, and the idea of pursuit of happiness, love, living your life, detached from these crazies. But sometimes like that song I referred to by that girl, I can't even think of her name. Sometimes it just wears you down. And you're like, and so it's depressing. And the only way to get out of depression is to just do something, something that's satisfying to you. So I'll get out, take a walk. That's not satisfying for me. I'll go to the grocery store, not looking forward to it. I don't like walking down the street. It's a crappy street, sidewalk, I mean. And, the grocery store sucks. But I still have $55 of EBT money left, so I might as well buy myself some stuff. And I need to get myself one of those overpriced like Renews It candles if I'm going to have a cigar, so my house doesn't smell like smoke. And I'll waste. I avoid all paper products for the longest time. Like I used to use paper plates, napkins, and all that kind of stuff because it was easy, clean. And I just said, heck with it. But I think I'm going to get some tissues and napkins just for the convenience. It's summertime, easy cleanup. I hate to waste money on it. I have to double check my budget to make sure I'm not spending what I don't have. And then if all goes well and I don't have, some sort of stomach disorder, shake well, refrigerate after opening. I forgot to shake it. I wonder if probably the key ingredients were lodged on the bottom of the can, so all I ended up doing was drinking high fructose corn syrup because the minuscule amount of honey and ginseng extract, was probably fell on the bottom. But yeah, if all goes well, I'll take my music into the bar, my bar, play some tunes. The tooth is starting jacked up. And I'll smoke a cigar, drink some beers, listen to some music. I don't really get drunk or anything like that. But, just to the point of where, you get a little, you feel good. Numb little alcohol buzz, and then I'll quit and eat something. And then continue my binge watching of these various shows I've been watching. And that's my life. But somewhere in between that, since it's so early in the frickin' morning, it's going to be a sunny day. I will go out into the backyard and I'm going to paint this side of my greenhouse brown. And then I'm going to bring that, I think I'll start outside. And then I'm going to bring that inside. And then paint my doorway. Or maybe I'll paint it. I have a doorway in my bathroom that I was painting just around the doorway brown. It's just to give it set it off. And I did a test of it like a year ago, and I never finished it. And then I will lay in the sun if it is indeed going to be sunny all day. And I'll probably lay in the sun for about 20 minutes to a half hour, absorb some vitamin D, UVB rays. And double check my plants. And if it's a sunny day, I guess I should water them. And that'll be that. So maybe between the walking down the street, the avenue, right? Because that's what it is. Walking down the avenue, finding something to eat. It's pre-made, and having my happy hours, messing with the garden, doing some painting. That'll break up the day enough that it'll shake all the blues away. But I really don't know, man. You know, I get this, like I say, this get up, as I call it. Did you hear that? But I have this whole get up. And I just I don't know. I'm losing interest. 125 shows. What can I say? You know, all these books, you know, Codex, nobody's bought it, you know, all this stuff. I've got websites. I have to pay, you know, to keep these websites. You know, there's fees. Then I have hosting fees, you know, because I have a server. It costs money. You know, it's not like I'm doing this, you know, it's free. So it's kind of weird, you know. I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Everybody is to leave here immediately. This cafe is closed until further notice. Clear the room at once.
Yeah, this cafe is closed. And
Elvis has left the building.
And Elvis has left the building.
Really funny. Really funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. And we'll miss her.
Okay.
You know,
Go ahead and shoot. You'll be doing me a favor.
yeah, it's really weird. Really weird.
Good morning.
So anyway, this is one of the weirdest shows that I've had in a while. Kind of depressing. I'm like tired. I'm going to take care of beeswax, and I don't even know if I'm going to do this anymore. Right? I don't know if I'm going to do this anymore. I mean, it seems like a waste. All this equipment, all this effort to make it work. And my tooth is suddenly starting to bother me. Why? The high fructose corn syrup must have worked its way in. It's ridiculous. Don't be a cow. Don't be cattle. Be happy. Figure it out. Do something. I don't know.
Attention, people of Earth. I have an important announcement to make.
You got nothing. Nothing's important. Nothing's important. Just live your life. Have some fun in the sun. Be happy. Get out of the rat race. If you're a robot, Pity you. I mean, if you're one of those unfortunate people that weren't, are soulless, and you're just a droid, just like wondering who you are, why am I, and or you've succumbed to some kind of indoctrination and programming, and you actually don't think that the guy with dementia has dementia. I pity you. But good luck,
Hey, it's me. How you doing, man?
I'm contemplating ending this whole thing. I think it's a waste of time. I used to have a cut. This show's been canceled for lack of interest. No, that was actually one of my first videos. It's lost. It was done years and years ago, and I don't have the videotape of it anymore. Yeah, this show has been canceled for lack of interest. All right. Peace.